if you say there can be no more innovation at all in the area of cryptocurrency on anything, no smart contracts are doomed to fail from the start. Adding privacy is like never should, no one should ever try. Like the best you can do is like only on Bitcoin. Okay, I mean, I disagree strongly, but okay. Once you say, well, there should be other ways to do stuff, in many of these cases, you will be forced to ask what are the tokens, the assets that are going to be the ones that are used to operate, control, reward those who believe in those particular solutions. And I think the only reasonable answer to me, I mean, there are two answers. One is use Bitcoin, but then this opens up a huge set of questions itself. You know, what happens if Bitcoin goes up, goes down? Suddenly they have no control. Can they be outrun by whales outside that don't even care about this? You know, the whole coin infanticide things and things like that. Or you will use the C word, right? You will say the T word, right? There should be a token that controls and allows people to participate in these ecosystems, in these experiments.
Hmm. Well, one of the funny things about this conversation, right, is that a lot of people who are the harshest critics of some of these systems, like, have also tried to produce their own kind of like token protocols and things like that, right? So I look like at Peter Todd and Giacomo Zucco, just as like a random example, right? Like they're kind of touted as these big kind of Bitcoin maximalists, like very hostile to kind of new innovation coming to Bitcoin. But they have their own token standard, right? That they've tried to put out in the market. Obviously, this would be RGB. Hasn't gotten the widespread adoption that maybe they would have wanted, or I don't know. I've tried to ask them, and it's unclear if they even even wanted to see it adopted. But they actually went through the process of making this, right? I think I talked to Alex B last week about Arcade. And this is sort of an idea to use Arc, which is kind of a tweak on Lightning to kind of add programming languages into this other kind of L2 construction. But maybe to back up a little bit, within Blockworks, I've had to kind of evangelize a little bit for the Bitcoin culture. And one of the things that I say is that, the Bitcoin maximalist view is generally that, we want to increase Bitcoin's utility as much as possible. And there's this view that little bit that like other tokens are a bit of a failure, right? If we get to a point where we need another token, there's something that we messed up or could be aspirationally done better. And it just seems like that intent has served the culture fairly well, right? Because it's while it's created a lot of other technologies that maybe would have existed otherwise, right? It's like what do you do if you get rid of that impulse, right? Because it does seem that impulse. There were a lot of different realities where Bitcoin looked very different, right? Maybe with Gavin and Andreessen was successful with Bitcoin Classic, and they upgraded 2 megabytes, and then Bitcoin has a very forward development culture, and maybe you ran into some dead ends through that process. So I don't know. I guess how do you think about the idea that the culture sort of has this kind of natural tension with the token ecosystem as being a potential benefit, even though we might acknowledge that maybe we'll never get, maybe it's aspirational, maybe it's totally aspirational, and some tokens have to exist.
I think we're just, I mean, you're a historian, right, of Bitcoin. I happen to love history. I'm an avid reader of like history. We are so early in this initial exploration phase of what, Satoshi unleashed. I have no doubt that it will be adopted, but mostly it will be adopted in ways that we right now cannot foresee, which is great. Again, paper money took a few centuries to be adopted. Just the notion of paper money, not to mention ideas like fractional reserve banking. You can think it's good, it's bad, but I'm saying the exploration of humanity, right, on so many scales with these things has been. It took centuries to reach where we are, and I think that exploration and experimentation are really, really necessary. And I've met so many Bitcoiners, Ethereum folks, the Solana folks. I know many of the founders of a lot of successful and less successful L1s. I talked to them. I didn't see too many scammers and bad people. I saw a lot of people who are entrepreneurs, visionaries, and folks that want to experiment and actually understand their limitations. And I think it's great. Now, maybe in 50 years, there's only Bitcoin. all the other whatever tokens and ecosystems go to zero, maybe. Um, I, I'll live happily knowing that that's the end state, or that that something else happened. I'll add to that that let's acknowledge crypto and Bitcoin don't really yet have global product market fit across a lot of domains. Most people in the world, there's the Google test, right, for what is something successful. It's like the toothbrush test. It's something that everyone uses once or twice a day because it gives them value, like a toothbrush. So it's not that. Um, Most of humanity does not use Bitcoin in any form once or twice a day to derive value from it. And to me, that means we are not yet. I mean, there's certain areas of PMF for the broad class of technologies, like maybe stables, Bitcoin just as an asset for some people. Again, I argue that most pension funds and just random people don't actually have any exposure yet to Bitcoin. So even there, it's not clear global product market. It's not like the internet, or it's not even like AI for that matter, where like so many of us consume it daily, AI, right, in so many levels. And it's not like cars. It's not there yet. So we're very early. And I love, maybe it's the scientist in me, the mathematician. I just love and celebrate exploration and experimentation. It's great. Let's embrace that.